So they proposed working outside, but left the kids orphans like his staff. All Thomas could do was to try and comfort his wife, yet the reality of life was akin to an insurmountable mountain, extremely tough to climb. After 3 months of hard work, they failed to make a ventilator, and the lab dogs were nearly all gone. Then the professor had a new idea. He suggested switching things up and making a genius out of Thomas. With a brain in his head, teaching in a brainy setting, his words shone like a flashlight in the dark. Thomas had a brainstorm and built a ventilator. The professor was thrilled upon seeing it. "You're my only hope. Everyone else just wants to see me fall flat on my face." So Thomas jumped right into the experiment. Just then, Dr. Rummel popped by to chat with the professor and witnessed quite a shocking scene. Thomas was performing surgery on a pup with his eyes closed, and Rummel was flabbergasted, while Thomas calmly said, "It's like coming home in the dark at midnight. Your hands down fine." Rummel gave Thomas a look of admiration and left, hoping to share the stage with him someday. Skill is the passport to respect, but not for petty people. Just ask the lady who gave Thomas an extra hot dog. The hefty guy next to him started mocking, saying that even in a lab coat, he was just a second-rate technician. He boasted that his experience trumped Thomas by 2 years, and his wallet was thicker by a couple bucks. Thomas was baffled by job titles, so he rushed to HR. The shocking truth soon emerged. He found out he wasn't a lab technician, but a second-rate maintenance worker earning only $16 a week. His anger swelled like a storm. The professor's joke ignited his rage. "Did you kill the dog? I'll deduct from your pay." "Just kidding. Good luck." The fond memory of $16 a week. The professor was deeply engrossed in his research, completely unaware of Thomas' true identity and the hardships of everyday life, which were beyond his comprehension. Just after Thomas left, Dr. Rummel shouted at the professor, saying the puppy's oxygen levels were normal. The puppy had hit the mark, and the doctor successfully executed his plan. The professor regretted not keeping Thomas around. To push the experiment along, the professor rushed to find the head of Hopkins Medical School, hoping to elevate Thomas' position. Without his help, the experiment would stall, but after a bit of sweet-talking, he finally got his way. "The head has just arrived at Thomas' home. This visit was significant, as it marked the professor's first personal visit in the teen years." He told Thomas he managed to secure him a salary of $25 a week and a back pay of $300. His position was raised, and Thomas didn't hesitate to accept. Soon, the duo immersed themselves into the new experiment. Although the simulation of the blue baby syndrome worked, real implementation remained a challenge. At that moment, Thomas' words clicked with the professor. "Let's do a bypass on the artery." Blood would be directed straight into the pulmonary artery. This was the girl's only hope for survival. The surgery experiments were successful, but only Thomas could handle the suturing of the blood vessels. The professor marveled at Thomas' innovative wallet-style suturing technique. "Are you absolutely certain that you filmed this?" "It appears to be evidence." This also proved their experiment was once again a success. The professor rushed to talk to the parents of the sick babies. He told them they found a solution for blue baby syndrome, but surgery risks existed, they decided. Yet at the critical moment, the test puppy had a misfortune. The sutured vessels ruptured suddenly, and it lost its life. This made Thomas hesitant to take risks. The next morning, he had a strange dream of an adult woman suddenly collapsing. She looked like an adult, but her heart was that of an infant. This revelation struck the professor like a bolt. He realized that the sutures wouldn't grow with the vessels. They needed to invent a new suturing technique. One half of the vessel needed to be sutured, while the other half grew freely, but as time passed, the infant began to struggle to breathe. This arduous task fell squarely on Thomas. Even the professor became his assistant. Under the watchful eyes of many medical doctors, Thomas gave it his all. Finally, he succeeded in developing a new suturing technique, but calling in assistance before the surgery proved challenging. Many medical doctors feared that failure would ruin their reputations, and no one wanted to join the professor on this risky dance. Only Dr. Rommel, who had witnessed Thomas' experiments, raised his hand, but the supporting head urged the professor to postpone the surgery. The professor knew time was of the essence. The baby couldn't afford any more delays. The next day, the baby was wheeled into the surgery room right on time, with teary-eyed parents praying for success. The surgery waiting area was packed with medical elites, but poor Thomas was kept outside. As time passed by gradually, everyone was fully prepared, yet the professor delayed his actions as he had grown accustomed to having Thomas' supportive presence beside him. Finally, after enduring an intense internal struggle, he made the decision to have Rommel escort Thomas into the operating room. Yet what returned was merely a fragment of Rommel. The hospital had a policy against black doctors participating. The professor's anger boiled over, and Hopkins Medical School finally broke convention, welcoming its first black doctor.